morning. One deadline has passed, the other still looming. That is according to a purported ransom note in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Today Show anchor Savannah Guthrie. And it comes as the family makes a new plea to whoever took her. At least 3 media outlets received notes. The FBI says the first deadline was 5 p.m. yesterday. That is passed. The other one comes on Monday. It also says there was a mention of Nancy Guthrie's Apple Watch and a floodlight at the home. Now, TMZ is one of the outlets that received a note. The founder, Harvey Levin, told CNN the letter indicated Nancy is okay, but scared, and that the family will have no way of contacting her captor or captors. Levin also mentioned a key detail in the note about the Apple Watch that could prove whether it's legitimate.
They do mention an Apple Watch, as the FBI said, and they do mention the floodlight, the damaged floodlight. There is something else, and it is the placement of the Apple Watch, which has not come out. And if that placement is accurate, I'm sure that is something that puts this letter on the FBI's radar. They began the letter by saying that that Nancy is okay but scared. So they say she is okay, and also that she's aware of the letter and the demands.
There's also a new video from the family. Nancy Guthrie's son, Cameron, issued this new appeal on social media. Notably, it was released right around the same time that the first purported ransom deadline passed.
Whoever is out there holding our mother, we want to hear from you. We haven't heard anything directly. We need you to reach out, and we need a way to communicate with you so we can move forward. But first, we have to know that you have our mom. We want to talk to you, and we are waiting for contact.
All right, let's get right to CNN's Maribel Gonzalez live outside Nancy Guthrie's home in Arizona for the very latest this morning. What are you hearing?
Good morning, John. Well, no suspects and a new reward. And that is the latest in the search for 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie. The FBI, now working with local law enforcement, is offering $50,000 for information that can lead to the recovery of Nancy. Of course, top of mind are these purported ransom notes. Now, authorities as of yesterday have not confirmed whether or not these are legitimate, but say they are taking them very seriously. And so is the Guthrie family from those videos posted on social media that you just heard. Now, those ransom notes sent to several media outlets, at least one of them demands millions of dollars in Bitcoin. And those who have seen these purported ransom notes say it also details sensitive information that only someone who is privy to this case would know. Now, authorities in their latest update also provided a timeline into Nancy's disappearance. They say she was dropped off here at her home on Saturday evening, and that right around 1:47 a.m. is when her doorbell camera disconnected. A little bit later at 2:12 a.m., they say the camera picked up activity, although no video is available of what that could show. Another key detail that we learned is that there was blood that was recovered on the porch of Nancy's home that you see behind me, and that upon examining those samples, they were able to determine that that blood was Nancy. Now, authorities say they are working under the assumption that she is alive, but have not yet received any proof of life. They are keeping that hope very much alive. And so is the community here in Tucson. We know that they've been rallying behind the Guthrie family, organizing vigils for the safe return of Nancy. And then also now we've heard from the Pima County Sheriff flooding their telephone lines with messages of support. The sheriff has asked people to instead post those messages on social media to keep that line open. John?
Obviously, again, every minute counts here. Maribel Gonzalez in Arizona, thank you so much for your reporting on this. Sarah?
All right, joining me now is retired FBI Supervisory Special Agent James A. Gagliano. Thank you so much for being here. Look, what is your take on the information that is out there now about these ransom notes, one in particular, the far apart deadlines in one of them, the Apple Watch detail, the one-way communication as well?
Yeah. Sarah, this is just a baffling and unusual case. Look, kidnappings happen for one of two reasons. They're either for profit or they're for revenge. And in this instance, law enforcement has not come out yet and messaged directly to suggest this was a targeted kidnapping. FBI's been doing this a long time, going back to the Lindbergh baby kidnapping in 1932. Frank Sinatra Jr. was a celebrity that was kidnapped in '63. Patricia Hearst in the '70s. This case, to your point, does not check those boxes. Really quickly, why? Well, one of the things here is the fact that they had multiple deadlines and the fact that the kidnappers, the people who abducted Mrs. Guthrie, didn't want to deal back channel with the family only. They went public. And that part of it is the most beguiling part, because the Guthrie family has been reaching out and beseeching them to maintain contact. That's what makes this such an unusual case, Sarah.
Yeah, you talk about the Guthrie family, and for a second time, they reached out. This time, first it was Savannah and her sister, and now Savannah's brother has reached out and asked, pleaded with whoever took their mother to make contact. And so far, as you said, that has not happened. You've been involved in hostage negotiations. How difficult is this one from the details that we now have so far? Because it is now, we are going into the 6th day, and I know, and you have said this many times, that time is of the essence.
This is a tough case for a number of reasons. First of all, there's about a 14-hour window there from the time Mrs. Guthrie got home until the notification from church and the family alerted authorities at 12 noon the next day. You've got a crime scene that's about 3,100 square feet. It's in a cozy neighborhood about 60 miles north of the Mexico border. I worked south of the border for a number of years and worked many different kind of abductions and kidnappings. This one doesn't make sense the way the kidnappers are working. And you also pointed out the multiple deadlines. Typically in an abduction, the kidnappers are going to give a deadline. If the authorities or the family doesn't meet said deadline, some negative consequence happens. That does not appear to be the case, at least publicly here. It is head-scratchingly odd the way that this is all being conducted from the kidnapper's perspective.
Is there, I mean, look, there's more than one ransom note that has been sent out to media organizations. And we heard from Harvey Levin, because one was sent to TMZ, which he runs, that there were some details in it. And one of them was that Nancy Guthrie is aware of what is going on and that she is scared. Of all the things that we've heard so far, do any of these notes, sort of the details that we're getting from them, the scant details, give you, I don't know, information that they're legitimate?
Yeah. I'm not entirely certain of that, and I certainly don't have any inside investigation, information in regarding to this case. But the fact that the abductors mentioned a floodlight, they mentioned something inside the house that could have been common knowledge. This looks targeted. You can't guarantee it. Obviously, you got to wait. You got to follow the evidence, bereft of fear or favor. But at this juncture right now, the way that the kidnappers are, one, they're using modernity here because they're using Bitcoin or cryptocurrency for the ransom money. Two, the fact that they're dealing publicly as opposed to dealing privately with the family. And three, the fact that the family gave those two impassioned appeals, one by Savannah the other night and last night by the brother. This tells you a lot. You have to, as an investigator, listen with your third ear. The FBI, law enforcement, cannot compel any family to do something or not do something in this case. They're in an advisory capacity. And just from the language that was being used by Savannah and her brother, very precise language indicating they have not received any other reach outs and they're basically in the dark right now. So that's what makes this such a tough case from the motivation perspective. Was it revenge or was it for profit? And I think investigators have reached a dead end. And that's why the sheriff of Pima County is basically saying they're going to start putting up literal physical billboards to try to crowdsource this and get more people to come forward with information.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many questions. In the meantime, the family is devastated and heartbroken and scared and worried. And certainly Ms. Guthrie would be in the same position. James A. Gagliano, it is such a pleasure to have you here as someone who is very familiar with trying to negotiate these really difficult cases. I do appreciate it, and we'll be talking to you again. All right, ahead. Right now, U.S. and Iranian officials are gathering for high-stakes nuclear talks. Will there be any kind of a breakthrough? And Luigi Mangione heading back to court this morning. What we could learn today about his trial. Plus, rescuers rushing into a burning home to try to save people that were trapped inside this inferno.